we have 5, I believe all, just double check, all 5 are fracking, right?
No, one is zoning.
4.
Uh,
One's the moratorium.
oh, that one, okay, so, thank you. Thanks. So if anyone is here to speak to any, well, just, if you're here to speak about fracking, well, we just do it all at once up front, but yeah, please.
I'm here to talk about fracking. I want to thank the board for all your efforts to ban horizontal slick water hydraulic fracturing, popularly called fracking, which is a dangerous technique to drill for unnatural gas. I don't know why they call it natural gas, it's really unnatural gas. And the point I wanted to make is tomorrow there is a deadline for the Department of Environmental Conservation to take the next action. And the internet today was aflood with what Governor Cuomo said and what the gas and oil industry said, and we have no idea what they're going to do tomorrow. But if we pass this law, these ordinances tonight, we won't have to worry about whatever decision they're going to make tomorrow. So I just want to thank you for doing this and, you know, even doing it tonight, it's great. So thank you.
Thank you, Rosa. Who else?
Public comment?
Yeah, please.
Christine
Oh, the
Martin.
public comments, if you're here just to speak about fracking, absolutely.
not that.
This is a
Alright, yeah.
continuation of the public hearings that we had on fracking right now.
Yeah, give us a few minutes, we'll be,
Okay.
we'll be finished, Christine. Anyone here about fracking specifically? No? With that, I will move to close all 4 public hearings, unless there's a reason to keep them open.
Yeah, Joe said that
We can't vote on all the laws, but we can close.
we can close them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you want to keep the
Well,
one open
well, that's
for
what I was going to
the
say.
one where they have 45 days to.
You want to do that?
I think that yes. Wait, let me.
Stuart, why don't you make the motion that we need to make then?
Wait,
To get this
hold
where
on.
you need
I
to go.
will as soon as I pull up Joe's email because I want the specifics from him.
While she's looking, there's a suite of 4 anti-fracking laws that interlock.
Yeah.
They've all been referred to the county planning board and the village planning board. The county planning board has a shorter turnaround time for comments than the village planning board. So there's 2 laws that we've already passed the window that we can pass cleanly tonight, according to our lawyer. 2 of them we could pass tonight, but might want to wait until our next meeting when that 45-day window to the village planning board is closed, just in case there's last minute comments. So that's what I'm just making sure which ones are which.
Yeah, I'd like to motion to close the public hearing on the proposed local law regarding to prohibit the disposal of natural and/or oil production waste into the municipal sewer systems, and the proposed local law to prohibit brine on village roads.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'd like to keep the other 2 open since we are waiting for the planning board anyway, which I believe from what Joe has said, and maybe Maurice since he's right there, we can ask him, is planning on talking about it Tuesday night.
So our next meeting is fine?
Yeah,
Open
so-
until our next meeting?
Yeah, do you know if the planning board is going to be talking about the fracking laws at your next meeting? Just because we're going to keep the public hearing open.
I haven't gotten anything from anybody yet about it.
Okay.
And our next meeting is on, it's not next,
It is.
well,
It should be.
we don't have a meeting next,
Oh, okay.
which I think is the 4th.
Yeah, it is the 4th.
So our next meeting is the 18th.
The next meeting is the 18th. Okay.
Yeah.
All
And I
right.
think what we would need is some referral from you.
Yes,
from the
absolutely.
board.
Okay,
So
cool.
if we get the referral, we'll
Awesome. Thank
do
you.
it. Okay, see ya.
And we'll
Have a
check to
good
make
night.
sure that referral was sent or not.
Okay.
I'll
I
double
thought that was done.
Yeah, I thought that.
I did too.
I thought
We're
the
gonna check,
referral
we'll
had
check,
been
we'll,
sent,
yeah.
but I mean, I'm you know, it's if we can just make sure if their next meeting is until the 18th anyway.
So you wanna, hold it open, to be held open at our meeting following the 18th, whatever that meeting is?
Yeah, open till I guess the meeting on the 19th would be. It would be a workshop meeting though, technically. So I guess it would be the 26th. But are we meeting on the 26th?
Probably not on Christmas, day after Christmas.
It's the day after Christmas.
Why don't we put it to the workshop, we can vote if we choose, so we can put it off.
Why don't we put it on the workshop meeting agenda because I feel like, you know, the sooner the better.
And December's a fluke, I mean, because of the holidays, we start to miss things, and we probably should be a little bit looser having to vote on things.
Right, exactly. That's kind of
So
what
is
I'm
that,
thinking.
well, I guess that's your motion then? And we'll shorten that Just something.
Oh, I was not the motion was to close the public,
Closing
I mean, I wasn't
the
making a
hearing
motion.
until it-
So we'll just have it held open until that's the meeting following the 18th. All right, so we can,
Wait, actually though, cause don't they only have 45 days? And we can vote on it anyway, so why don't we just do that?
do which?
Have it at our first meeting in December, cause shouldn't that be after the 45-day period?
Well, that's a question that we
Yeah.
have conflicting information on at the moment, so we.
I guess if they technically have not received it, then they would have more time.
I did try to put it on the agenda, their last agenda, and it was bounced off their last agenda.
Oh, really?
I
But that's
can-
different than
well-
sending them a referral, probably.
Right. It doesn't.
Well,
It's not about. Yeah, we have to. We. I mean, in the original motion was the to send it to referral to the county. So it should have been. I mean, I would think it was all sent at once, and that would start
Right.
the clock.
It could be that Maurice got it and hasn't remembered yet.
Right. Well,
We don't know.
that doesn't. That doesn't mean that's. That has nothing to do with the clocks when the clock
Right.
starts. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm saying if we can, I mean, I would imagine that we sent it out within the days after that meeting that we had set the public hearing on, which, oh God, what meeting was that? Was that
October
this-
25th,
It was October 25th?
because we referred it to county on October 26th.
Okay, it was, okay, the 24th, I guess, actually was the meeting, yeah, but so it was that week then that we had referred it. So then, by now, I could sit here and count all these days, but I would think by our first meeting in December, the 12th, that would be past the 45-day period.
And if not, we can
And we
always
could just
put off the public hearing
do
for
it
one meeting.
then.
Right.
Yeah. Let's put it on the 12th. That's good.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that. All right. So we can't vote. Let's get the rest of the public hearings, the last public hearing done, then we can vote on adopting these other two. So I guess this one we do have to read, Katie, since it is the first public hearing on the moratorium.
I'm sorry.
No, it's my fault. Is anyone here to speak to this by any chance? Interesting.
I'm sorry, Jason, I'll just take 1 second to bring it up.
It should be in the packet if you can't find it. If you, right?
It should be. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
No worries.
Yeah, it's okay.
I already told you to put them all away. Don't worry about
I need to do that.
Please take notice. Is that one? Do you need all the please take notice bits?
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
just,
oh yeah, she needs extra resolution, thank you.
please excuse me, it'll just be 1 more second.
It's fine.
Take time.
Really. It's not like we've got a lot
Christine,
of
you wanna
time
just have your comment now, so you don't have to wait through this bit?
Sure.
Unless
She
you
would have to.
We haven't even
Well,
started
you
the
finish.
meeting.
I mean,
We're still in the middle of the
finish
public
this.
hearing.
Yeah, I think in terms of
Yeah.
getting your comments in
Yeah.
our minutes,
Right.
we're better.
That's true, that's true.
Do you want the one that's in the packet?
It's okay to have
No,
a
she's
moment
not-
while
yeah.
we wait,
I'm
and
so
I don't care.
Please excuse me, I'm so sorry.
No.
Please take notice that a public hearing will be held by the Board of Trustees of the Village of New Paltz on November 28th at 7:30 p.m. regarding amending Chapter 212 zoning and Chapter 178 subdivision of land, adopting interim zoning law and subdivision regulations.
Thank you. One last time, anyone here to speak to this? Then I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
It's
Is
like-
that?
Wait.
Yeah, what was the issue? I mean.
Oh, a 6-month moratorium on new construction in most of the village so that we can rewrite the zoning laws kind of all at once without having to rush to build.
Side of the road.
No, it wouldn't have anything to do with
That's the
Yeah, no.
zoning.
It has to do with like new construction and new development, and the idea that if we want to revamp our zoning and our code, if we do this, it means that there's a period of time where people don't rush to get things built essentially while we're changing the laws.
So
Sure.
this would affect Pencil Hill, this would affect other.
Nothing in process now.
Yeah, everything that's already got.
They withdrew. There.
That's a whole other complicated conversation.
Yeah, but technically, things that have already submitted applications, they would all be grandfathered in, and anything that basically after we vote on this and it's sent to the state, then, anything that's
So it's
tried
a
to do
6-month
significant.
moratorium on the building.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So your evil plan to tear down Main Street and put up a mall? We're on to you, Nancy.
You
We're
know,
on to you.
There's
Stop you.
already another evil plan to build
Yeah.
a 4-screen, 360-seat theater in our front yard, so,
Yeah,
you know,
no,
that's.
there's that one too.
But yeah, so it's, and the idea is that we would, as we go through it and revamp everything, the moratorium will be lifted on those different areas as we go.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Oh, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And would you all please rise for the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So we do have to wait on the moratorium till our next meeting as well, to vote because of the 45-day window. Though, is there anything else for the agenda? We have bills and claims, that we need to tack on there, but anything else?
I have one executive session thing,
Okay.
but it's very brief.
And the aerial thing we can do in bills and claims.
Okay.
So, Nancy, Christine, please.
Dr. Nash and I have officially appealed the building inspector's determination that the SUP for 127 Main Street has not expired. Our appeal date in front of the ZBA is December 11th, which is less than 2 weeks from tonight. At present, there are two contradictory determinations by Ms. Moniz. In the June 18th determination, Ms. Moniz had deemed that the SUP for 127 had expired. Yet, in the September 11th determination, Ms. Moniz deemed that the SUP for 127 had not expired. Dr. Nash and I are basing our appeal on the most recent September 11th determination by Ms. Moniz. Is this most recent determination the official determination? We do need this information in order to prepare for our appeal.
Well, since there's ZBA appeals and I believe a lawsuit involved, it'd be easier if you put the request in writing and we can have it sent over, the information sent over to you.
Here's the request in writing.
Perfect, thanks. I'm sure you understand that rather than not speak off the cuff when there's lawyers involved.
Well, we were hoping, since this had been going on for quite a while, and the question is fairly straightforward, that there would be an answer by now.
Yeah, like I said, this is why it's in front of the appeal at the ZBA and
We're appealing it.
Yeah, no, I believe, and your appeal's been it's going to be heard by the ZBA.
We just want an
Yes.
answer, what is the determination? And the lawyer had asked, it's been asked several times by Mr. Lyons over the last several months, and it seems like a pretty straightforward question.
Well, I don't know the answer right off the top of my head, so we'll have to get back to you. Sorry, you don't have anything else for me?
And how will you get back to us?
I'll send in writing if you'd like. I can call you, whatever, email you, whichever you'd like.
By September 11th is our appeal.
December.
I'm sorry, December 11th is our appeal, so, it's part of what we're appealing, so we need to have that information. Would we have it by then?
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, in the next, I'm assuming in the next few days, as long as it's something I can answer. But again, like I said, I have to talk to our attorney because it's not
Mr. Lyons or Mr. Ariel?
Mr. Ariel in this case, though possibly also Mr. Lyons. It depends.
I think we're done with this.
Yeah, I can't remember. That's the thing. I don't have it all like at the tip of my fingertips right this second.
That would be great.
Yeah, but I'll get you whatever I can legally get you. How's that?
Yeah, so we can
Of course.
go
Yeah.
forward.
No. Exactly.
Thank you.
Of course. Is there any other public comment on anything?
I'd like
Whatever
to
you'd
know,
like to say.
Are you making a decision about alternate sides of the street parking?
Not this evening. No.
Aha, I got the wrong date, the wrong information. When are you gonna be?
You know, I don't actually remember. We remember we discussed it. But I don't remember what we decided. I don't
We
remember the next step.
we approved the overall transportation plan, and now the things would be moved forward like incrementally, unless that was one of the ones that were budgetary and or like year long.
Yeah,
No,
I don't
we
remember
done
the
some
details.
immediate changes, and we did some that were longer. I don't know if you happen to have the copy on you.
But if you have anything you particularly want to say
Yeah,
about
that's
it,
good.
we can do so.
This is the form.
Well, a couple of things. One, I'm here for St. Andrew's Episcopal Church, and I would think the Methodist Church and some other businesses that use those side streets. We're on Oakwood and Main. So alternate side of the street parking would really be hard for us because there isn't that much parking. And the other thing that I just want to bring up, and I'm sure you're quite aware of this, but it really is getting to be such a big problem in the village, is the fact that because we have rental houses in our neighborhoods, so many rental houses, that if you put 6 students in a house that normally would be a small family, and they have 4 to 6 cars, and they don't have to driveway to park them in, we have all these cars on the street. And Oakwood, I know there's a lot of other streets, but Oakwood is one of those streets that there's a lot of student housing. And too many people, too many cars, and it doesn't allow for the people that pay the taxes and use those streets to have any parking, even for the businesses, for the churches. I know churches don't pay taxes, but all the people that go pay taxes. And I just think that it's getting to be really a problem. What happened to the village? I mean, people will tell me that they have no neighbors anymore, people that lived here for so long, because anytime a house goes up for sale, somebody buys it and puts 5 students in it. And I have nothing against the students. I just feel like the college should be providing more housing and more parking for the students. And I think somewhere the village has to say enough. And I don't know how to go about it, but I know there's a large voice out there. I just happen to be one person here today, but I know there's a lot of people that feel this way, that they no longer, if they live in a house, their neighbors are gone, their kids have nobody to play with because there's not another family moving in. I don't know if anybody else feels this way in this town, but
You're not the first to say it.
I didn't think so, but it's just gotten to be, what happened to New Paltz? We're a nice little village. And so I think that when you talk about alternate side of the street parking, there's some people that you have to think about. You have to think about the churches, there's some businesses, there's some doctor's offices and things like that that may suffer from that, some real estate places. And I just wanted to come here and comment on it, and especially for my church, because we don't have a great deal of parking. I mean, I had thought at one point maybe if we had buses on Sunday, people could go to the park and ride, and maybe buses could drop people off at different places. But we don't have Sunday busing.
Hmm.
So if you could give me the date when you're going to discuss this, I'd like to come and bring more people.
I don't actually recall.
I just looked at the minutes because I'm a little embarrassed even actually, because at my TIC meeting last night, I couldn't recall that we had actually moved on this. So I'm really glad that I now have minutes to look at, because we did move to adopt all items indicated as immediate. And there was a friendly amendment that the cost for the special parking sticker can be reassessed at the reorg meeting each year. And it was adjusted. The fee was adjusted, and then within the same discussion is when this is on October 24th. Brian moved to remove the 2 parking spaces on the east side and on the west side of Grove Street, and 3 parking spaces on the Oakwood Terrace intersection on the east side and west side. Basically, the very first spots on each one, because when you're crossing, I mean, this was requested of us, but these are the things that it's still not done. I don't know
I was
if
just
you
reading
want to
that
look into
to
that.
double check that again.
Yeah.
I'll just go out there and paint myself.
That's what you said that night.
I know. And
I've been waiting.
Take a picture.
But so yeah, so I actually am embarrassed that I did not recall this, but we now have the minutes and I am able to refer to them. So that's what happened. So I don't know if you've seen the entire parking plan, but basically it's like 3 phases of it. One is immediate, one is like budgetary for 2013, the next budget cycle, and one is much longer term things that might require grants or contracts or very, very much further down the line. Yes.
Where could we go to view this?
It's all available, and you can ask the clerk. I'm sure.
No, actually, it's not. I was hoping it was on the village website, but can we add it to the village website?
If the website will support it, yes. If not, we will put it to the WordPress and
Maybe on Facebook. We can put documents on Facebook, I think.
if we
Yeah,
can do it, I certainly
yeah, we
would.
can.
I mean,
Wouldn't hold back from
is there
doing
an
it.
actual hard copy plan that I could come here to look at?
I would say not, but I know this because I don't print it. It's like why I have my laptop here.
Well,
'cause I
Katie
don't
has a
print
copy.
things.
Yeah.
But I'm
We
sure
can,
you have
we can make a
it.
copy for you if you come to the clerk's
The
office.
clerk has.
Yeah, of course.
The website's been really hard to get anything.
It's been so hard to navigate.
I
The
can't get an
website
agenda.
is, the architecture of the website is unsupported. It's the same one we did in 2003. So it can't actually physically accept PDFs of what, over 15 kilobytes or something? It's some small, so some of our agenda packages will be broken up because you can't, and so we're having problems with it. We're setting up a separate WordPress site just for documents and just records.
Is that
Well,
It's not up yet, but we're getting it. Katie and I have been just putting things there so we have someplace else to direct people,
Okay.
or someplace to put big files that
Do
we
you ever
need.
use Scribd? Scribd, you can
No.
upload huge PDFs
Well,
for free, and
yeah.
it resides in the
That's a good-
cloud. And you can, they are embeddable into a WordPress site. It's
Oh,
phenomenal.
perfect.
That's
Yeah.
great.
SCRIBD.
Yeah.
Scribd.
So in other words, is this a done deal? Two parking
Not
spaces?
not the
and
not the alternate side of the street. That would require more action. And I don't quote me on this, Aaron, but I think that might actually require local law. There's certain things like stop signs require local law, whereas certain other signs don't. So alternate side of the street may be a more involved conversation we actually haven't had yet, based on what Ariana said. So there's no decision made to even make a decision other than the immediate short-term stuff we're gonna do, and we're gonna talk about it at some indeterminate point in the future. Is that about accurate?
I don't know if that's accurate.
Because I thought the
I'm
alternate
trying
side
to-
was not immediate. That was not
Well, that's why I'm trying to pull up the parking plan.
The main street spots though, that is happening as soon as the DPW can get out there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
two
the
s-
main
Tell us
street
what that
spot
is.
is already.
I'm confused as to what spaces are being
So,
removed.
on either side of
Safety
Grove Street and on either side of Oakwood, the first two spots on Main Street on either side of the street.
Yeah, when you
'Cause-
first turn in.
Right.
Yeah, which I understand.
So that line
So
is
you're
on
going
Main
after-
Street.
So yes, the line of sight is
It's a
exactly
safety.
it. So it's the ones on Main Street.
It's a
Yes.
safety.
So it's not on Oakwood or Grove, it's
No, it's on Main
there, so when
Street.
you turn, you can see.
Right, when you're turning
Okay.
off or when you're turning on, and
For the
plus for the
crosswalks.
crosswalks as well,
Right.
it was definitely a dangerous issue. So,
Yeah.
So 2 spaces on either side.
And I think actually, and I'm sorry, and you're definitely, but I think part of that parking plan also works to remove some of the cars on Main Street from households. Like there's a section of it that limits the number of people or number of spots available by houses, I believe. And Ariana?
On Main
Like-
Street?
No, like each house gets certain amount of parking spaces to be on streets, right? Am I misinterpreting?
You mean the parking, like the planning board parking requirements? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I thought in the parking plan there was a section of it that there was something about parking on the streets and each house it gets only a certain amount of spots.
Oh, yes, but this is not. It's the idea of having a way for people to, like the residential parking, employee parking, utilizing the lots in a better way. So that, but this is not. That's not something that's
for the
been
local.
passed. All right.
Okay.
But it's the idea of. I mean, it's all in the part in the plan. Let me. I can find it. It's probably better if I just read this. This is long term. Parking meters are expensive and visually ugly to the streetscape. Therefore, except for the core business area and other designated metered areas outlined in this plan, we would reassess the use of parking meters and replace this with a central parking meter station and possibly a 2-color annual decal system with corresponding street signage, red for students and faculty and employees and green for residents. So the idea that you could pay for annual parking if you would like to, and there will be places by Village Hall, say, because this is one of the Village Hall parking lot is a really underutilized parking lot, and it's used a lot of time for the college campus, people come and park here. But if we had a sticker system where if you were a student and you wanted to park here, it was going to cost you a lot more than it would to park on campus, it will open up spots for residents. And it would, you can pay for it back. But none of this has been passed. This is all stuff that like we will work out.
But you're not talking about the residential streets. You're talking about the parking lots.
Yeah, we're talking about parking lots. We're talking about possibly doing that on residential streets in ways like by the bus station where there's no long-term parking, but people will park there for 12 hours, 24 hours, just get a ticket or whatever it is. If you go down to New York City or something, we want to have designated areas for that so that we can basically mitigate the way that the parking is going, and it's more of a rearrangement of the parking, not really an addition or an elimination. But I think if we rearrange a lot of the things, that will create more space. Part of the problem is that people don't know where to park. There's not enough signage, and you'll go by the 32 North Park and Ride or the Village Hall parking lot, and it's completely empty. And somebody might want to just stop in front of Jack's and get their whatever dinner, but they can't park in front of Jack's Meats, but they could park at Village Hall and walk 2 minutes there and back. But not everybody can, but those who can should, to make space for those who cannot. Rosalind's laughing at me. It's true, I know. We all need to just be more community minded in those ways. But so I think we're looking into those things, but some of the more immediate stuff. When the alternate streets, alternate street parking on all streets in Village except Huguenot streets that are metered on one/both sides or are state highways. And this has been requested by residents, recommended by DPW, because most Village side streets are narrow, and double-sided parking is a safety issue for moving vehicles, and snow removal is almost impossible. Mm-hmm. It has been what the report out from our DPW, the head of Department Works, Blue, has said these things. So that was where it stemmed from.
Can I ask another question? It might not, tell me on that order, but when we have these rentals, where there's 6 or how many unrelated adults living in a house, are they now considered businesses?
No.
Why aren't they?
From my understanding, the state tax code doesn't allow you to have a residential, have it categorized as a business, and it wouldn't necessarily make much difference because we don't have a different tax rate for businesses anyway.
Oh, we don't?
Mm-hmm. No, unfortunately. Which I've been told by the State Office of Real Property Tax Services we can't do, at least at the village level. So it's aesthetically and psychologically important.
Can't we do it if we're like business improvement district?
You can just have special assessments on top, but you can't have a base rate that has a different. I don't think it's right, but
what you're we can do that. It's just not as we would have to do more than just implement a tax levy.
No, if you're going to put a special district, then you can do many things.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You have to have a public benefit to it, I believe. So like a special district for utility lines or water or sewer. But it's something we can talk to you about.
Business improvement district.
Easy to show what the benefits are for things. I mean, the business improvement district.
I meant like state law categories
certainly.
of things, not like common sense benefit. But
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just clarifying, Ariana. So did you say that was on the immediate list?
Yes. Alternate street parking. Yes.
So it is on the
but with
That's what I'm
restrictions,
saying, yeah.
certain.
Which ones?
Except Huguenot streets.
Yeah,
No,
Except Huguenot
Metered.
Street, streets that are metered on one or both sides, or streets that are state highways.
So that would be like third.
Yeah.
So
So it is.
Oakwood would be.
Oakwood would not be
You
included
say
in that.
immediate. What
Oakwood
does
doesn't have
immediate
meters on it.
No,
Next year,
only
next month?
if you do have meters, you're
Right,
not
right.
included.
Okay.
Or you're a state highway.
It
That's most village streets.
it means that things will be coming down the line as they are able to. I mean, we voted on this on October 24th, and none of it has happened. So I would say that it'll be a while.
Now, you said you voted on it. What exactly did that vote authorize?
The immediate parts of this plan.
Well, you can get a. It's a longer. We can't read the whole document to you, but I mean, so it's clearly more.
I wish I had a
than what's,
copy of it with
If
me.
you
I'm
do,
sorry.
if you'll call me in the morning at the clerk's office, I will happily email off a copy to you so you can see. And Elizabeth, I just emailed you a copy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these things, you know, the Bicycle Pedestrian Committee gave this its support because they said that it's, you know, it's called the draft proposed parking plan, but they said really it's you know, it's a walking plan and a bikeability plan in a lot of ways as well. And that was the idea behind it, was we wanted to make things more walkable, more bikeable, and if we have alternate side of the street parking, then we can have like, you know, de facto bike lanes basically on one side of the street or on the other side of the street. We don't need them to be painted or striped, but it means that it's a lot safer for people to ride if they're not being squished between the parked cars and the traffic.
And there was like an open meeting on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
It's a meeting just like this
I
one.
guess
Written
somebody
about
gave
it.
me a late date.
All right. Okay, I'm interpreting that this has already been authorized, and now it's only waiting for the logistics of the implementation to occur.
Apparently, yeah, I was mistaken.
Now, is it possible that for churches you could change that on a Sunday?
Did that come up already?
Wait, but what? For which
About-
street?
For churches, you could change that for a Sunday, that you could park on both sides. Because we usually don't have the college traffic as much on Sunday. And churches, like I said, the Methodist Church, the Episcopal Church, I'm sure. the
Huguenot
Catholic
Street
Church,
has
Huguenot.
one-way traffic
Yeah.
on Sundays.
I mean, we could. I mean, we really could do. We could do it. I mean, we could do any of this. But we did just pass it, and I don't think. I don't know. I mean, me personally, I guess I feel like more people should walk, but I know that more people are driving from outside of walking distance, and that's
Not
why.
everybody lives in town.
Exactly.
You know,
And that's
I mean,
why
they live not in the
we
village,
should,
they live in the town.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. I understand that. I mean, it's not on our topic of conversation in general. The idea of catering to either churches or synagogues or any religious entity in terms of parking. I mean, it's
But,
also.
oh, wait a minute, we'll consider the bikers, but not the churchgoers?
We're not considering the bikers. We're making our community more bikeable because we want to move towards a more sustainable way of living. So it's not about the cyclists. It's about making things safe. It's about safety issues, and it's about the environment and the idea that we need to move away from fossil fuels and cars and all of these things, and more towards public transportation and walking and biking and all those kinds of things. I mean, there's also been talk about, you know, what about the baseball, you know, the Little League and all the people who play in the park and you know, there's a lot of different entities that we could cater to and maybe should cater to, but it's like where does it stop then? You know, how far do we go with catering to different entities?
Let me interrupt for a second here, because Ariana didn't do this on her own either. She was one of
No,
four.
Sally would probably explain a lot of this better than I would.
That wasn't the point I was getting at. What I was getting at is it's not just, you know, this is not her pet project. It was a group of people.
Oh yeah,
And maybe
yeah.
maybe it might be because it sounds honestly like there's a longer. The parking and snow removal are the two things that there's never a good answer to. That's it. The only two things we can't find a solution to ever. Because it's one of those things where you move it here and no matter where you move, someone's mad or someone is harmed for every good that you can find sometimes. That's what it feels like anyway. So it can be a long, long conversation. Would it make sense? Are you guys still meeting? Would it make sense to have a conversation with the full group with them? And
well, no,
about
the full group has did their part, and that was like. I mean, it was people from the Downtown Business Association and me, myself, and Sally Rose, who's not here tonight, and you know, other people in the building department was part of it in terms of like code changes and things that we needed to know. But it's been reviewed by Bike Ped, Transportation Implementation Committee was talking about it last night. Blue Terwilliger, our superintendent, and Nick Coddington from DPW, our parking enforcement agent. So people have looked at this and given us a lot of input as to how, like, what are the best practices, and based on their experience, you know, in terms like the idea of snow removal. I don't know a lot about what it entails in the day-to-day, what it's like, you know, to be driving the truck and the frustration of, you know, this one car that's parked on the street because they didn't, you know, move when it snowed. So those are the kinds of things that we looked to the people who are doing it. for advice.
So the transportation people are still meeting, right?
They are still meeting, and you know, I think they will give us even more input in terms of the longer term things, and you know, some of the stuff that we have in here is part of the transportation implementation study. It's a little bit more in depth than that actually went, but because it's a lot of like the real nitty gritty walking in the streets and looking at, you know, this parking spot and that parking spot and handicap locations, which was one of the things, the need for handicap parking. And so that's the kind of stuff that this talks about, but it's all based on studies that have been done and approved by the village board in the past. Not even any one of, actually maybe you, Jason. Definitely, actually it was 2006. So yeah, but it was like a totally different administration that was putting this forward. So this has been a long time coming, a lot of these things.
Well, yes, it came up 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And was voted down.
Again,
Alternate street parking.
let me because this has running the risk of dominating the whole chunk of the rest of the meeting. We have some other people who want to say something. I can't think of any I'm trying. There's obviously there's not just the one church obviously, and if you're coming here, you may not be the first if this goes forward. I can't honestly, right sitting here right this second, think of a good way to get your input into our thinking in a way that's not, you know, off the cuff right this second.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe would it be possible if you have folks at some of the other congregations, if you see a win-win situation, just kind of let us know. How can we get, like, you know, we can get you a copy of this so you have all the reasoning for why alternate street is good. If there's a way to meet all of those benefits without causing the harm you're describing, if you can think of something, please let us know. But it's tough to have the detailed conversation here kind of unprepared.
You know, I mean, personally, I would be open to saying like no alternate side of the street parking on weekends or something like that, which would solve the problem. But then we're back to the problem of, well, what if it snows on the weekend and then we need to plow?
That's different.
Well, but that's part of the point of this is why.
We have a thing in town that you have to remove your car from the street when it snows.
I know, but people don't. That's part of the.
What would that have to do with?
Because we would have one. They wouldn't be on that side of the street.
Folks, I'm gonna stop the conversation.
If we want, we can talk about this further. I would be happy to get together for lunch and we can chat about all of it. And I'm open to including things and changing it as well. So.
Thank you. That's what we need. That's what we need. That's true too. And well, Ariana can bring that to the TSC as well. So Nancy and then Aaron.
This kind of dovetails with what I want to bring up is that you know, parking and traffic, especially in the Gateway District, are so tight, and you know, parking spots are at premiums, and the traffic, I mean, try to get to the flats, you know, on any, you know, busy day. In any case, there's a proposal before the zoning board for relief of 75 parking spots for proposed 4-screen 360-seat cinema. And I'm concerned because I live on a side street that already there's only one side of the street that has parking on it. And people will be turning down this block at least 4 times a night looking for parking, as they have when they're going to attend these 4 screenings per night. You know, well, 4 screens, so at least up to possibly 16 screenings. So now we're going to have lots of, you know, the parade of cars zooming to look for parking spots at set times that are staggered throughout the night. And if you look at the hours of operation, they are, you know, from you know, early evening and matinees on the weekends until 1 o'clock in the morning. And so we have residential streets. Wirtz Avenue is a residential street right abutting this proposed development. And so I'm very concerned about not just the parking, but the parade of traffic and the congestion in the gateway that this is going to cause. People turning from Main Street onto Wirtz, onto Water Street, and you know, just I'm concerned about this. And it's before the zoning board, but I wanted to, you know, find out what, you know, a little bit more. I'm going to look through the parking study, but I also want the village to be aware, you know, of the threat to, you know, you're now going to, you know, remove many parking spots. And I do agree that we have a walking problem, that many people, you know, don't walk, they take their cars. However, if you're going to pay for a movie and get a, you know, babysitter, you know, you're going to pay for a babysitter, you're gonna drive to the movie theater to get a spot in case the babysitter texts you, there's something wrong with your kid, you gotta take him to the hospital. I'm not gonna walk 20 minutes. You know, I would live right across there, but anybody who's within walking distance for a movie, they're not gonna walk. They're gonna take their car, especially if they have a young child at home, and you know, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just, it's not something that is easily solved by, you know, just public transportation, for instance, or carpooling, or you know, more loop bus riding. People are going to use their cars. So traffic and parking are a very big concern in the Gateway, particularly, especially you know, with this mega complex that is being proposed. So I just wanted to put that on the record.
And we're still waiting on some of the traffic engineering comments as well as the
There
ZBA.
was a proprietary study done, biased in my opinion, and that was, you know, paid for by the developer. And so the zoning board is looking at that. They're also taking public comment. You know, but this will be decided December 11th, so the same date as your. So, but I'm very concerned, and I would like to know what, you know, if the village, you know, is, you know, what the village is doing, you know, and if traffic is as much of a concern to you, especially given, and I understand the need for what you call infill and density. This is overkill, and this is much bigger than, I mean, this is shoehorning an enormous complex into a very, very tight space. The residents, in fact, are going to be, you know, inviting the press to walk the property and to really understand how enormous this is. This is not that little yellow house. This is the little yellow house times 4 and a lot higher, and it, you know, and no on-site parking.
Right.
So, anyway.
I don't know what. Well, thanks. I guess we'll see what the ZBA has to say next in a week or so.
Right.
Man, you guys got tough ones. No one comes to these things for months at a time. Aaron?
I just have one question. I can't remember either. I think you can't remember. Don't you need a local law to pass alternate side of the street parking?
That's
Just
on my
accepting
notes.
the
Yeah,
recommendations is. I'm asking. My recollection tells me yes, but I'm not sure how good my recollection is.
Well, let me pull up
Yeah, I don't know.
the minutes ago.
I remember you guys passing local laws to do that.
Yeah, it might need. It could have been something that is a non-binding vote on that issue, that particular aspect. If we need to take another step.
I think it would, you know, the motion was to adopt all items indicated as immediate. So I think in terms of what that means for us moving forward, it means that, you know, we're all in agreement that we would like to do these things, and then the implementation of them will come with time. And if we need to do local law for things like the alternate side parking, that will come down the line, and there'll be an agenda item and things like that.
I just wanted to answer the question.
Well, no, but that's just the reality. I mean, we can adopt what we want, but I mean, people have no idea how expensive those reflective signs are. We may not have enough money in the budget in this fiscal year to buy all the alternate side of the street parking signs, which means practically speaking, it's not going to happen until next year.
Right.
As much as we want it, we think it might be a good policy choice. So
No, I was wondering, but would it require local law?
I don't know.
Because that
I'm asking the village attorney.
Yeah, I think what this really, I think what we really did, now that I see exactly what the motion was, which was to adopt things as immediate. I think what we really did in terms of that is just say like we're all approving this and we would like to move forward with the immediate item, and then as they come down the line and think there's some things that the DPW can just do, like the idea of removing these parking spaces. I mean, there's just striping on the road, and that was a separate motion to do those specific things. So I think for a lot of these, it's going to be exactly what you're saying.
Is that also, I read in the paper, parking meters on Prospect, is this under that umbrella as well?
That is, let me go to, I think that has to do with long-term stuff. And the parking meters, I think what you're referring to is we wanted to have the long-term parking right by the bus station. And that would be part of it. But that is not adopted yet.
So hold on, before we move on, if anyone has any questions about this parking plan?
Yes,
Please get a
not on our
copy.
agenda
Please
for
get a
tonight.
copy of the report first and read it for yourself. And if you still have questions, then come ask us because obviously Ariana's doing the best she can on
I was
all
gonna
our
wring my
behalf. 'Cause none of us came here prepared to talk about
Look, you
it.
misrepresented this.
Yeah, let's make sure. Let's see it in black and white first. Come back if you have questions and let's talk then. If that would be.
Before you go though, I
But
wanna
did
give
you have something that
this
was-
is my contact information. So
Okay,
feel
thank
free. I would love to get together and talk about it more.
Was there any public comment about anything at all you'd like to say? Nothing?
Actually,
Please.
it's, I guess it all came about because of this conversation.
Sure.
Because I live so close to the bus station, I noticed that the taxis love to hang out in front, taking up parking spaces. And they're parked running in the area that says don't park between here and Main Street. Yet they get away with it because of the technicality that they're sitting there with their motor running and they're not parked, they're standing. Or at least that's how they seem to get away with it. Without designated parking spaces there, my driveway is blocked at least once a week by someone who thinks that it's okay to do so while they wait for the bus to empty and things like that. Enforcement of this parking, I think, needs to also be addressed.
Well,
No
thank-
matter
I'll
no matter
check that
how you
out.
slice it, any rule that you create isn't worth diddly unless you can enforce it.
Thank you.
I agree with that. I think that's been a large topic of our conversation is, we've got some ideas of how we might be able to solve some of these issues, but enforcement is what it will end up coming down to in terms of, even just like, we have the idea of decal stickers and possibly, having designated residential things, but if we don't enforce it, it's useless. So I'm in complete agreement there. Thank you.
Any last public comment? All right, thank you all very much. Any announcements from the board? No?
Oh, yes, Hunger Banquet. Where is my flyer? There's one downstairs also. It's gonna benefit the family of New Paltz. What is this? I just had it here.
While she's looking for that, I could just report that the revolving loan committee will be meeting tomorrow night here at 6 p.m. It's an open meeting, but we don't expect, the revolving loan committee.
Big media's coming for that.
Yeah, that's probably the New York Times.
Oh, here it is. There is a hunger banquet Tuesday, December 4th from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. It's on the SUNY campus in the Student Union Building, the multi-purpose room. 1 in 7 people goes to bed hungry each night. But hunger is not about too many people or too little food. Hunger is about power. Its roots lie in inequalities in access to resources. The suggested donation is non-perishable goods for the family of New Paltz, or a monetary donation for their for the Oxfam America for their international fund. And walk-ins are on a first-come, first-served basis, but to reserve a spot, email Jacqueline at oxfamamerica.sunynp@gmail.com. And there's a Facebook event about it. You can look up Oxfam America at SUNY New Paltz, and it should come up on Facebook. But people should go.
Thank you.
Good night, thank you.
Good night.
Good night, thank
Good,
you.
thank you.
Ariana, sir, do you want to make the right motion we need to adopt those 2 laws we can do tonight?
Sure. Pull up our agenda now. Okay, so do we have to file it with the state just today?
Just move to adopt.
Okay.
That's all.
Alright. I'd like to move to adopt the proposed local law to prohibit the disposal of natural and/or oil production waste into the municipal sewer systems, as well as the adoption of.
Why don't you do them separately?
Separately? Okay.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Go ahead.
I'd also like to make a motion to adopt the law prohibiting brine on village roads.
I can't go on village roads.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, I'll move that we approve the fire department to purchase 2 Dragger XAN 2000 meters. Just so the board knows, we actually have $1,200 budgeted in this, but we got a deal so we can buy them for $70 more than we budgeted otherwise, which is why it requires. So, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And finally, I'll move to approve the award of the bid of the 96 Dodge pickup to the highest bidder, Loose Gizm, for $1,776.76. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Wait.
What? Okay, so any discussion?
Okay.
Drive it away today.
So my question is, I think like obviously the highest bidder is, we want to make money for make our money back on this kind of thing, but I have I don't have actually an issue with I'm gonna vote yes, but my question is in terms of choosing who we give it to, do you always go with the highest bidder, or is there maybe? Because maybe the highest bidder, and I don't believe that this is the case. I actually have no idea who these people are. But what if the highest bidder were like some corporate entity that we didn't want to sell our truck to? Like, would we be able to say we want to go with the second highest bidder because it's like a local person who we want to give support to?
Maybe if family put in a lower bid, we might be able to do
like
something
some
for a
kind of
nonprofit.
501c3
Yeah,
would
maybe.
be able
But
to. All right.
Stuart Sheehan said, I don't know. We might have to fiduciarily take the highest bidder.
I'm just asking. I'm not trying to start this conversation.
No, it's a fair point. All right, no, all right.
Well, because
The other way we can. We don't have to. For example, we don't have to take the low bid. Because if, for example, if the low bid is so much lower than the other ones,
right, there's
it's
a
the lowest
quality
reputable.
assurance kind of thing in that when we're getting for our procurement
But it kind of
policy.
doesn't work
but
for
the other way
selling.
around, it's like what if we're like, oh, we want to be good to that person and screw those guys.
No, I don't think so.
No, all right.
Yeah, probably not.
Just wondering.
There may be a category, but not an individual. All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Move we adopt bills and claims.
Second.
All in favor?
Good night, everybody.
Question.
Good night,
Yeah.
Aaron. Thank you.
Before we vote on
one?
it, are we including the bill from council in that? Is that-
Let's just be safe, and I'll amend my motion to include the final payment for the retainer with the
the
chairman.
final one or the initial one?
Where it said, I'm sorry, it just said invoice due. It was for the ward situation. So.
Yeah, but I thought it was just the initial one, but maybe.
Well, either way, we owe him some money.
Whatever the statement is, if we retained him and he did work, then we should do it.
Yes, we did. Both of those things happened.
I have.
So I'll amend my motion to include the bill from the village attorney as well.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
It's the initial retainer.
Initial. I'm sorry.
Initial retainer per general.
Okay, and we have where Brian has an executive session item. Other than that, anything else we missed?
No.
I think that's it.
I feel like there is, but I don't think there is.
All right. Well, I'll make a motion to go into executive. Actually, you should because I don't know what else.
Yeah. Regarding personnel or personnel and employment.
We'll fill in the
individuals, yeah.
the right boilerplate.
The personnel one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, was there a second?
Oh, I'll second.
Oh, sorry.
Oh wait.
Whoever doesn't matter.